Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we get into today's video, I want to talk a little bit about Eternal Weekend. This Saturday, just a few days from now, by the time of this recording at the very least, I'm hosting Eternal Weekend, the Legacy Edition. I will have a painting for the winner, painted by Sawatarix. He will listen to your wishes and make a beautiful painting like he did with the EWNA winners last year. I have had a sweet giveaway sponsored by Card Titan, and I will have another sweet giveaway for a main event ticket at Eternal Weekend EU, sponsored by Four Seasons and Booze MTG. Let's have a look at the details here. As I said, September 6th is going to be Legacy. Here are all the details. September 27th is going to be Vintage. I had to change the date because of an unforeseen MTGO tournament, so I don't want those two Vintage tournaments to collide. Members get a discount. Always happy to welcome those. Everything is set up on Melee. You can see the price structure here. There's everything you need to know. So yeah, I hope to see you over there. I'll make sure to add a ticket link in the comments. And yeah, enjoy the video. Okay, guys, this is going to be another basement battle between Bosch&Roll and myself. This is hopefully going to be a monthly thing where my members and his members are submitting decks. We're each picking 3 of them, tweaking them a little bit, and then we're jamming them against each other. What's the catch? The catch is that no deck can be in the top 15 on MTG Goldfish at the time of, you know, that decision being made. And first deck is a sweet, is it Artifact Synergy deck submitted by my one of my members called Scryus. So I believe this is originally a DN Solver list. And this is a very synergy-based deck. So you have your Core Steel Cutter. It's an artifact itself, which is pretty darn cool. You have a bunch of zeros. So what else is good with zeros? Well, we have some Thoughtcasts. We have some Thought Monitors. We have Kappa Cannoneer to basically reward us for building a big board. Of course, we implement Urza's Saga with a bunch of flexible trinkets. You know, Bounce Murktide, Merit Lage, Haste, Kill Faster, Stop whatever with a needle. Could be like a One Ring. And then a little bit of graveyard shenanigans here, as the metagame oftentimes asks for. I want to talk a little bit about Pinnacle Emissary here. So you can warp it for 1 mana, and then you can kind of explode if you have an explosive draw with a lot of zeros. This will synergize very well with Kappa Cannoneer. As like a 1-2 punch, make some 1/1s, the next turn play a Kappa Cannoneer. That would be quite powerful. You can also play this later. Then it becomes more of like a, I don't know, Seasoned Pyromancer type card. Then there's Emery for grind and keep the engine running for, you know, Cutter and Emissary. And then, you know, Force of Will and a little bit of utility lands to make sure that we get a little bit more mileage out of our mana-based sideboard. Addressing colorless, red, combo, creatures. A little bit of a split card here, killing, I guess we want to kill a Null Rod. That wouldn't be bad, right? But also just killing a creature. A little bit of a trinket for when races are going to be relevant. And then a couple of Tormod scripts to handle the graveyard a little bit more easily. That's going to do it for this deck tech. Let's play. All right, match 1 is upon us here. I'm on the draw. I'm playing Izzet Artifacts, and this hand should be decent. I can bridge into turn 2 with an indestructible land, Pauper style. I can prevent combo shenanigans with Force, and then these cutters can hopefully take over the game. Let's see what Brian Brian has brought to the table here. So we don't share, you know, insight about those. We basically play with closed deck lists because, you know, should be the most fun to hopefully showcase some Brewer's Advantage. Thoughtcast the draw is not bad because with a cutter in play, that can kind of go nuts. Let's see, what is Brian playing here? Which deck goes Zenith for Arbor with blue in it? That isn't a, you know, that isn't an established deck, essentially. Unclear. No Yorion either. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. That's why this is so cool. So, Brainstorm Fetch. I still have my little plan going on over here. Okay, Bant this thing. whenever a card leaves your graveyard, draw a card. Okay, so 2/2 flyer, I think we should be able to beat. So our opponent is some kind of natural order deck, probably the Strifo deck. I will develop another artifact land, and I will go Core Steel Cutter. I'm actually not going to force back if my opponent has a force here. So now, if stuff leaves my opponent's graveyard, they're going to draw a card. So some kind of engine established for the both of us, I guess. So maybe that deck has like Leovold in it. Maybe that deck has... Okay, that card should be beatable. I'm not going to force will that card. Oh, yeah, that's cool. I already forgot about the interaction here with the Skimmer and Curator. So now I've basically said, sure, go ahead and draw an extra card each turn. Okay, didn't think about that. So yeah, this is going to be quite a good time, I think, because I'm not necessarily going to do too well against unknown territory. So second one of these... it's a flyer. This could get out of hand. I feel like I have to force will this card. I don't love this. I wish I forced the Curator, essentially. So now I don't have an untapped artifact land. If I draw 0, this will go crazy. Don't draw 0. I draw the probably worst card in my deck. So now I have 3 artifacts. If I do another setup turn, then I start taking damage. I don't think that's ideal. A setup turn would mean basically play a cutter and a tap land. I think what I want to do is play land, play Thoughtcast, and hope to get something spicy here. Yeah, this is not something spicy. Okay, probably can't win here. Okay. That was annoying. I wish I didn't miss that detail. The bad news about countering that card is obviously, you know, aside from the card disadvantage right away, it's also about just natural order in general. So now the draw engine begins. The opponent has a ton of damage. Let's see, land, creature, instant, sorcery. So they have the chance to go, you know, full power here. Here's Teferi. Yeah, Teferi is very annoying. I feel like Brian has the wiggle room to play like this, because I bricked on the last turn. 2 cards in hand. Here's a bauble. So now I think it's time to... Let's see. Can we get a Thought Monitor in play even? Let's see. What if I go Cutter? So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 artifacts. I think that's going to be better than a Prowess Trigger. Or is that the case? Because the next spell I play, I get the tokens. Then I can attack with everything onto Teferi if I want to. Probably should do that. I'm losing out on a mana, but I'm killing Teferi. Maybe that's not that bad. So I go 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I go Saga. I go Monitor. Draw. And then the bauble is my Prowess Trigger that, you know, kills the Teferi. I feel like I should play like this. Now, what am I going to do about a Swords to Plowshares? Go to 11, block there, take 9, try and win from there. So maybe I'm supposed to learn about the top of my deck before deciding here. Thought Monitor, very, very strong. So I guess let's attack the Teferi, because that's just going to bounce a monk anyway. So I think that's good deck building. And now I'm plowing I'm forcing a plow. Is that really right? What's the alternative? The alternative could be Hasted Kappa Cannoneer. If I counter that... Oh, there's a Teferi in play. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Oh, man. This is just a good time because I have no idea what I'm doing. So the opponent played well there, obviously keeping Teferi in play. That obsoletes the force. So now it's like a goldfish situation. So hopefully for me, this is, yeah, exactly, some curator things here. The curator probably should have targeted something that was a different type than a Misty. But let's be honest, I could easily miss a detail about that as well. I'm bad against land and natural order. Most other things, I think I'm in a decent position against. Let's see what this is. This is a go. Okay, so my opponent's playing defense here. I like that. So probably lead on the monitor, I would imagine. Let's try and lead on Thought Monitor. Double cutter in play. Like, this could be brutal for Brian. Let's see what I can do. Emissary, huh? Emissary, huh? I think the end goal I want to get to now is the Teferi is dead, essentially. Because if I kill the Teferi, I have Force of Will up. So let's see if I can do that. I should probably warp this guy. Let's go warp. So now I'm getting tokens here. Let me cook. Let me cook. So what's better, to play Kappa out first or the Bauble first? Probably the Bauble, because it gives me more like improvised stuff. So that happens. Bauble is in play. So now play land. Play Kappa Cannoneer. Tap Cutter. Tap that one. Tap that one since it's going to die anyway. Needs to tap 3 more. One of these need to be it. Need to tap 2 more. What if I tap the drone? Is that good? What if I tap the drone and the... I don't want to tap the Bauble, really. I can do like this. So Kappa Cannoneer. I get another token. I now want to haste the Kappa Cannoneer. Thanks to the equipment here. And then I can kill Teferi and hopefully lean on this Force of Will to win the game. Let's try and understand. I don't want anything bad to happen. Let's just attack Teferi with that one and attack my opponent with that one. I think that's fine offering the trade here. This doesn't have reach or anything, right? Yep, let's do it like this. So the opponent can't plow and pay 4, which is very nice for me. What can they do, though? They can play Endurance. Okay, that's an annoying card that eats my flyer. So that happens. Teferi's dead. Force is unlocked. And now it's time to look at the top of my opponent's deck. That's a plains they're going to fetch away. And now it's on Brian to have a very strong turn. So I am drawing a card with the Bauble delayed here. And I can go make, you know, a creature with Saga that will trigger the Cannoneer. So I feel like I'm in decent spot here, even though I don't have any more, you know, turn spells. I can go and find something like Aether Spell Bomb or whatever, which is a, you know, a cycler. Also have the haste equipment, so I can give... Yeah, there's just a lot of things here where stuff like Kappa and Saga token has trample, where it gets complicated for Brian. That is a very good card as well. Let's see what Mr. Bosch can do here. Did he keep a card on top? think he did. So that card is probably pretty darn good. Let's see. Yeah, kept the card on top, so I just hope this Force of Will has me covered. Feel like if I survive the night here, I'm winning. I thought I was super toast when I missed the interaction with Key Knight Curator and the Skimmer. So Brian could draw an additional card, but any, you know, mana spent here is going to make it just that much more complicated. Let's see. What's the play here? The play is this. So I don't think blocking there is a bad call. It could prompt some activations. Let's see. What happens if I block with a couple of monks on the Curator? I think that's decent. Let's do that. I think this is like, if they trade, awesome. If Brian starts doing things, awesome. I feel like this is a bunch of activations to get it to delirium or threshold, or whatever you want to call it, over the hump. Let's call it that. So now Brian just needs one more type, I believe, because of how Thought Monitor works. That's pretty cool. So that card is going to trample over. I'm going to take some damage. And then let's see. This very well may be Brian's best chance to win this game. Kappa Cannoneer unblockable, and then a huge trampling Saga token is my plan. If I can draw a spell, it makes things a lot more simple. Let's see. Green. Already drew the extra card, I believe. Okay. The Brian could have done that instead. Hit 2 birds with 1 stone, exiling from his own graveyard instead of mine, I believe. Yeah. So it's a little bit, I don't know, a little bit of inefficiency there, probably. Let's see what I draw here. Pithing Needle. Any spell is good here, so I'm quite interested in that. So now let's go and get what am I gonna get here? So I could go for Spell Bomb, but I'm not sure that does anything. What I also could do is go, what if I go, oh yeah, I think maybe I might need the boots, right? Yeah. I should go Lava Spur Boots. And then maybe go, oh, okay, so that was redundant, I think. Okay, I'm kind of clowning over here. So let's go that card. Let's go this card. And then equip the construct with the other cutter. Yeah, sure. Let's put it over there. And let's, I guess it doesn't matter. So that resolves. I will just go Keen Knight Curator on the needle. Yes. Then I'm gonna go, let's see. So one of them will not be able to attack because I want this one to attack instead. And then I'm gonna send the clowns here. I guess I should have looked at my opponent's hand way before all of this. Swords to Plowshares. So guess let's attack here. Let's see how this works. If that guy gets plowed, I'm now getting in for 9. The opponent has some blocks. I feel like I should fight here. So now I win the game if this works, and if it doesn't work, I might even win the game because of this prowess. Who knows? Okay, I was lucky to win game 1 here against the Bant Stryfo deck. Removal spells are decent against that plan, so that card is bad. Trying to understand if... I mean, I like the Dismembers. I'm just not sure I like 2-mana removal. So what about Needle? What am I naming with Needle here? Maybe Needle is also not that great. I guess that one man, like the Mana Dork, the 1/1 the deck plays, but let's do this. I feel like this is decent sideboarding. Do I want these cards? I don't think that deck is wastelaning me, so maybe I can get rid of like an island. Is that crazy? I think that's fine. Oh, yeah, and also... Oh, okay. He's going to be bringing in Collector Roof here, so I think this should be good. Let's get rid of that card and one more card. And I have a feeling it should be some top end, but I'm really not sure. I guess I'm keeping all the zeros. Maybe Emissary isn't that great. Maybe drawing 2 Emissaries is not where you want to be. I don't know. Let's try this. So I got to chain both of my Thought Monitors that game. That was really strong. And I was lucky that I survived having, you know, tap lands, etc. to develop. I was pretty sure I was dead there. I needed Bosch to draw kind of poorly for me to get into that game, and then I just chained the good stuff from there. Okay, this hand is interesting because it doesn't do anything right now. It has pretty decent potential. So do I believe that a Dismember is enough to get me into the game and, you know, basically get busy with said potential? I'll try. I also have to make a decision whether I kill a non-oof creature here. Okay, boots. So I should probably just get busy with that. Ooh, actually, I should have played Sing Into Stupor here. Okay, so I introduced Force of Vigor into my life way too early here. Yeah, I wish I played the other land. Oh well. Let's see if I take the punishment. I don't. Let's see if this is a natural drawn oof. I'm really not hoping that's the case. Okay. Question is if I'm going to see a Upkeep Vigor here. I did not see an Upkeep Vigor. So Volcanic Island is an awesome draw. I wish I played the other land the other turn. I'm getting blown out by Force of Vigor here for... I was about to say no reason, but that's not fair. Hydroblast, that's a good one. That is a good one. So now, essentially, I'm hoping for a turn where I go Cutter, land, Dismember, a meaningful creature. That type of deal. To get things going here. Now I can't do that. Now I can just play the Cutter. So I think I'll... Okay, so I can go Cutter, Mox. I should probably do that. Okay, let's try that. So I go Cutter, Mox, attack for 2 if I'm allowed. I'm not allowed. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Bring us down to 2 cards. And I got him to force over something that isn't Dismember. So I guess that's solid. I only have an artifact count of 2. Here's a... So let me do some counting here. So if I kill that card, I now have an artifact count of 2. I can get that to 4. 1, 2, 3 mana. Okay, so I think I can Thought Monitor the list this turn. Let's just double check here. Kill that card with Dismember. Leaves me with 2 artifacts, 3 artifacts, 4 artifacts. 1 mana post, 2 mana post, 3 mana post. Okay. So let's go to 11 here. If this doesn't work, I don't think I can win this game. So yeah, that's what we do. Try and make things work so we don't lose the game. Let's see what Brian is thinking here. That was a good one for me. So let's play Opal. Let's play that card. Let's play this card. Wow. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I want to, I can play another Thought Monitor. Is that how you play Magic the Gathering? Or do I slow things down a little bit here? I actually like to slow things down. So let me have a look here. Plow. Plow's fine. Like, if you're plowing stuff that already drew 2 cards, I think I'm doing just fine. I'm actually going to slow roll a little bit here. I could have played a Thought Monitor. That's very important. Plow gets shuffled. Let's see if this is Endurance. Ice Fang. Ah, got it. So Brian had to go and get a duel because he had previously no white. Okay, that's decent for me. Kappa Cannoneer. The hits keep on coming here. If I can play that card and haste it, I'm really doing it. I don't even know if I can do that. Should probably make a little bit of a count here. Versus Saga. We're going to play that for sure. Now let's do an artifact count. 1, 2, 3. So I need to pay... I can tap 1. So I have 4. Oh. I feel like the Cannoneer is closing out this game. So I want to go for that one. Let's see. Kappa Cannoneer. Tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Play that afterwards. Okay, so Kappa Cannoneer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That will become a 5/5. I can cast this card. Okay, we're probably gonna trade forces here. Feel like this is how I'm supposed to win. I will say, what if my opponent already had natural order? Then they would have cast it. That's the logic I'm supposed to use here. Force your force, buddy. Kappa Cannoneer enters, triggers. Play this one. Because I have versus Saga, I have an artifact coming next turn. In for 7. And now my opponent needs something like Land Plow or something. But yeah, that's just going to do it. I was lucky to beat the Oof and double force Hydroblast draw with some clutch draw steps. And yeah, the turtle still got it. Let's see what we can do in the next one. Okay, next deck here. Let's see who submitted this one. Submitted by Guy Drinks Tea. This Cradle Nadu strategy has been, you know, on and off. I remember it was touted as one of the best decks or coming best decks after the ban, right around 10 months ago. Didn't really get there. I think this deck is really, really cool. It's essentially a deck that tries to amass a ton of creatures, the payoff being, you know, Nomad plus Nadu combo. I guess then 2 can do some good things. I love this Curator as part Graveyard Hate, part just a big creature. This Frenzied Baloth is a cool addition. This can't be countered, and your creatures can't be countered from now on. So worth noting is it is not an Allosaurus Shepherd, but it is a better individual card, I guess. Because your Court of Callings, your Zeniths can still be countered with this in play, where Allosaurus Shepherd makes every green card uncounterable, but this Frenzied Baloth makes Nomad and Nadu uncounterable. So they're kind of good in their own right. A little bit of Once Upon a Time for flexibility. 1 Shepherd, 1 Safekeeper. That's a pretty decent toolbox out of Zenith for 1. 4 Endurance in the main deck. I maybe should have changed this a little bit. I don't expect Bosch to be bringing Reanimator, but hey, he might as well. And then all the creature tutors, which are bad against Grafdigger's Cage, essentially. 1 Behemoth, because it's the most clean card that wins the game on the spot, because it's serviceably as a natural draw, essentially. Sideboard, trying to handle a combo, trying to handle creatures, trying to handle, you know, pesky enchantments and artifacts. I have Oof out here. I moved it to the sideboard. I don't know. Maybe that's too arrogant, and I was supposed to have something against Artifact strategies. Carpet of Flowers, hopefully going to make things easier against blue-based decks. A little bit of Gildrake here against Fatties, and then some Flusters to help against combo like the Deafening Silence. Let's play. All right, match number 2. I'm playing Nadu's Cradle, and this hand seems great. All it needs is like one creature tutor or Nadu, and it'll go off. Let's keep that. I guess I have insurance policy when it comes to endurance. I wonder which of these mana dorks I should play out. I'll actually try and play the birds, because if, you know, if it gets killed, I would prefer to have a Noble Hierarch afterwards. I guess this logic doesn't hold any water if I need the endurance, right? Then I just pitched my best card instead, so who knows. Basic Swarm out of a Verdant. Thoughtseize. You got it. So, I'm not sure I learned anything from that move out of my opponent. They will learn a lot here. Taking the Nomad, so make sure I'm 2 cards away, essentially, from winning. Here's Green Sun's Zenith. So... Oh, Green Sun Zenith. Maybe I'm just supposed to go Noble, play Cradle, and step the Endurance and take it from there. That should be good. I should maybe just have a quick look here and see what kind of, you know, standalone Zenith targets we're working with. I guess it's kind of like these. Okay, let's see. Ursa Saga. Oh, shoot. Am I just getting killed? No, I'm not. Okay. Ursa Saga with that one. I wanna cast this card and reshuffle my opponent's graveyard here. Also, let's see, how far am I from the Craterhoof Zenith? Next turn, if I fetch a Dried Arbor before my turn, I have 4 creatures. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I can do that next turn, so let's try and do that and hope the game goes on until then. And that I counted correctly, I guess. 4 creatures, 4 out of a Cradle, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Let's try and see if we can Behemoth next turn. Saga up to 2 is annoying. Here's Wasteland. Okay. So that stops my clever plan here. Sure. I don't think I play Surveillant in this deck. Let me just double check. Ooh, I do play a Hedge Mace, but that is a Hedge Mace. Ah, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, I clicked once too many. Never mind. Ah, that's too funny. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, certainly should have had a Hedge Maze there, so I don't see that land, or at least get another look at it. That was atrocious. So now, let's play... I don't know, I can't... Let's just play this card, and then I'll Zenith up a bird. Let's see what this is. Oh, this is Brian playing Clever Boy versus, I guess, me going for an oof. That's pretty cool. Here's a token. I mean, Wasteland, when I say Wasteland, I'm not worried about getting comboed. So now it's my turn to do this that I should have done last turn, but you know, what would the fun be in that? Endurance over a random card. I'm actually gonna put it to the yard. So any creature tutor or a nomad, and I'm off to the races. Lots of good draws. Let's see. Here's Lava Spur Boots. Here's another Saga. Opponent's trying to race here. Yeah, the opponent will attack for 11. Oh, not 11. Never mind. The opponent will attack for 6. That's totally fine. Can I draw something? Ruh-roh. That was not a reasonable draw here, I must say. So what did I learn about my opponent's deck? Is it some Pox style deck? So Force of Vigor is awesome against Ursa Saga. Endurance seems to be, you know, underwhelming. This Baloth also seems to be underwhelming. Also pretty cool text here. Combat damage can be prevented, meaning you can attack through the One Ring. That's something that's very important to think about in future games. If anybody's taking this deck for a spin. Shepherd, again, it's not really what I want to be doing. Maybe Collector Roof is decent against that deck. So for now, I'm looking at these changes. How good is Nantuko? Nantuko could probably be decent. I think you can always trim like a cord, but maybe I'm supposed to keep the cords and cut endurances here. Yeah, this looks decent. And then, you know, I have some options when I know more about my opponent's deck, essentially. Oh, yeah, this is bad. I can't keep this hand. Tap land, bunch of stuff. I think this deck will mulligan quite poorly, actually. It frequently needs, like, critical mass of stuff. So maybe this Vigor is too ambitious from a mulligan. But then again, if I can kill two things, I might be looking like a bit of a champ. Okay. I don't mind getting rid of Visager here. I think that's reasonable. And if my opponent presents me with some turn like Saga Mox, I can Vigor it, but that didn't happen. Turn 1 Thoughtseize. Very, very reasonable play. Nadu's out of here. If I find out 1-drop, am I even interested in playing it? That's kind of my position here. Maybe I should delay this Once Upon a Time situation until I have, you know, let's see a Nomad that doesn't do anything right now, right? So why not delay that decision? And maybe even if the game plays out a little bit weird, it's just my pitch fodder to Force of Vigor, but who knows? It's a bit rough, as I alluded to, only getting to 6 and keeping a Force of Vigor. But it could also, you know, yeah, if I caught the Mox Diamond Saga draw, I guess it would be decent. So the opponent's a Wasteland deck with Mox Diamond, so that screams Loam, right? It's always, like, that's the challenge here. My opponent knows what's going on, but I don't know what's going on. Here's Ghost Quarter to the yard, so it's... Here's Malevolent Rumble. So black-green... Oh, maybe it's like a Dark Depths deck? Could easily be a Dark Depths deck of sorts. Bowmasters. So let's see. The opponent took that card. Okay, perfect. Everything's gone. These are gone. Let's see what this is. Another Thoughtseize. I think that's totally reasonable. I like that I hung on to the Once Upon here. So now the Collector Oof is going to be decent against the Diamond. Collector Roof hits the bin. I guess that's fine. I can't really complain about that. There's a Once Upon a Time. So now it's time to fire one off, I feel like. Here's a Nadu. Let's take that card. Let's do that. Let's pass. And then I can Once Upon end of turn. Look, it's not exciting to go get a land, but, you know, if I can play a Nadu, I guess it's serviceable. Ooh, brutal. Let's cast Once Upon a Time. Guess go for a land of sorts. That Nomad would have been juicy, but I'm not sure that's the way I should play. Maybe with the Cradle, though. It's tough. Also, with that being a Bowmaster deck, I'm not quite sure how reliable that is. Yeah. Let's take this card. And then I can surveil and play Nadu next turn. From there, I have a lot of good draws. The opponent's kind of doing nothing, so what does that mean? Slow rolling Bowmasters, probably. So the boots, black, green. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's some Dark Depths shenanigans. It kind of must be. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. I just have this feeling I'm not really in control of like usually when I play decks that I've practiced a lot and given a lot of thought. But it should be fun anyway to showcase. I guess the decks I'm showcasing aren't that niche. Let's see, Drain and Mill. That's gonna be alrighty. Taking back a Wasteland is annoying. So now I will still be surveilling. I feel like Bosch is holding a Bowmaster in hand. Porta Calling is atrocious right now because I'm getting wasted off blue here, most likely. Or, you know, just off a land in general. So that card is good. It represents my last chop in the deck. Bosch's draw was obviously that card. So maybe maybe his hand could be something like Snuff Out, stuff like that. I think it's time to at least play Nadu and get some kind of exchange going here that's going to be favorable. Nadu, Winged Wisdom. For now, it's just a 3/4. So I'm basically hoping to obviously pair it with a Nomad like a champ. So is this Revolt for Fatal Push? It is not. So now I guess let's play this and attack for 4. Yes, play the Cradle. Attacking for 4 while my opponent is doing nothing here is not bad. I'm losing to some Merit Late shenanigans. But the opponent is 2 pieces off. Getting rid of that one, leaving me with 5 mana is totally reasonable. Creature Tutor and my opponent is dead. That is certainly not a Creature Tutor. That is a Force of Vigor. I will play the land, but I'll hang on to it because I don't want to be in some situation where, I don't know, Noble dies, Savannah dies, and I don't have white mana. And Dried Arbor doesn't speed up the clock because I'm attacking with, you know, increments of 4 in the air. So, yeah, Bosch didn't get too exciting draws, I must say. Yeah, there's the Nomad to probably send Bosch packing. Yeah, that was... I'm really interested what this deck was actually trying to do, if it was a Pox deck or a Dark Depths deck. It seemed like Brian just kept drawing like way too many mana sources, and then just let's say the role players of the deck. So yeah, I guess we'll have to find out after match number 3. All right, third deck on the table here. We have, of course, the fast Reanimator deck popularized by Sai the Shallow Grave. What an awesome nickname. It's good that the nickname wasn't Exhume, because that card got cut somewhat recently. Yeah, this deck is very, very explosive. Let me just talk a little bit about the plan A of the deck as I move some cards here. So basically, you want to entomb, you want to reanimate something, and from there, it should be easy to win the game. You're clearing the way with Therapy, Thought Season, Unmask. Those 12 cards can also handily enough target yourself. This is why we play 9 fatties, so that our, you know, natural drawn fatty can get discarded here. This also means that we have a lot of cards that functions as Entomb, potentially up to 16. I guess you can even count a little bit on the Surveils and a little bit on the going up to 8 and discarding turn 1. This deck is going to be very explosive in a closed deckless environment. This deck is a monster. And then out of the sideboard, I have this beautiful plan B, including Show and Tell, which doesn't care about Graveyard Hate, and including the Chain of Smog plus Witherbloom Apprentice combo, which doesn't care about Graveyard Hate either. So hopefully this is going to put Brian in a tough spot between, do I need removal spells? Do I need, hard counters for Show and Tell? Do I need Graveyard Hate for my normal plan? So Sai has equipped me with a guide that I'm going to be using because, I'm certainly not an expert on any of these decks, but that's why this is extra cool. So, let's see how it goes. All right, it's match 3. I'm playing Fast Reanimator, courtesy of the Shallow Grave. Sai was nice enough to provide me with a guide, so I'm certainly gonna use that. So let's have a look at this hand here. This is so funny. I've never played this deck before, so we're on the draw here. I bet I just go to cleanup and hope that this card is good enough on turn 2, I guess. I have a ton of good draws, like mainly on Mask. Yes, you Blood Moon me, bro. That's not good for me. Okay, so let's try and think about this. Which one is better, Gristlebrand or Atraxa next turn? Probably Gristlebrand, right? Big Gristlebrand goes to the graveyard, and I have a pedal to play around Blood Moon. Let's see. Let's see if this is going to be a brutal day at the office for Mr. Roll. Here's Shallow Grave. Here's me drawing 7 cards. Here's me drawing 7 more. Nice. Let me unmask here, discarding what? I guess discarding the card Reanimate. What on earth is going on here? Minotaurs? That is crazy. So, okay. So I guess Seething Song and stuff like that would work. Let's attack here. Got pretty lucky here to also find my swamp. And now I feel like I should just pass and discard a bunch of stuff. Like, let's see. Creature, 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 fetch land, creature, fetch land, fetch land. More fetch land. And I guess Entomb is quite bad. I guess I should have reordered here. Based and had the best one for Shallow Grave up top. Maybe that's not too relevant. Tray Ball. Oh, I discarded too many lands. This is amazing. I discarded too many lands. That is really, really funny. That is hilarious. I deserve to lose this one. So City is gone. 5-drop is gone. Yeah, I deserve to lose this. That's really funny. I should have thought about that. Didgeridoo? That's the best. That is really cool. So let me go ahead and discard. Whatever. Thoughtseize? Yeah, this is actually really cool. This is very well deserved. If I just keep a land over a random card, if I think about Trinisphere. Wow, Lantern. That's what we want to see. This is the good guys doing it. Okay, so now I can reanimate my opponent's creature. And I guess that is somewhat decent. Ah, that's too funny. That is too funny. So I go animate dead on my opponent's creature. Soul Guide only works against your opponent. So yeah, big powerful 5 mana, 5 power here created by Animate Dead. Oh, I forgot the wording about that card already. That's too bad. Because now the opponent can put this card into play. Let's see. Yeah, wow, that was terrible. I should have. Yeah, this is too great. So obviously, if I keep a land, I win easily. And now, if I therapy the turn before to take the 6-drop, I should also be in good shape. This is the game that keeps on giving. I forgot about the stable didgeridoo in the meantime. Whenever a land you control enters, if it's your main phase. Okay, so lots of very annoying things here. I guess I will go reanimate because that's the one that doesn't cost me life. Reanimate onto. I guess that this doesn't matter at all. Let's just go for Atraxa. And then next turn, I can therapy myself. Naming Archon. And then the turn after, I can animate Dead. I don't even know if this is going to be a game or not. I feel like I threw this game multiple times already. That was too funny. So, wait a minute. Oh, the opponent also had one of those. Yeah, I'm in trouble against this. Certainly in trouble against this. The legendary Minotaurs. The battle of the ages here. Yeah, this is too funny. I guess I should learn how to play against weird decks. Maybe I'll get a new chance next month to play against weird decks. I also have to tell my members that we can kind of be a little bit more experimental. Suggesting decks just outside of the top 15 might be a glitch in the system. But I'll talk to Brian about that in the rundown after this match. I hope you guys are enjoying this because I am having the time of my life with missing bunch of obvious and obviously less than obvious things. Sometimes they're on board, sometimes they're very easy to predict, but I'll for sure miss a lot of them. You can count on that. Let's see if Brian finds a sicko line here. So basically, I need to be in a situation where I am not dying next turn, essentially. So let's see. What happens if I double block this card? Wait. Brian didn't want anything to do with it? Huh. And now let's go Cabal Therapy, targeting me, name Archon of Cruelty. You got it. I think I'm losing, but let's see. Archon of Cruelty hits the bin. Can't do anything here, and I have to understand what this card does, I think. Each creature you control, whenever a land you control enters, if it's your main phase, there's an additional. Okay, so if the opponent has a land, I basically can't win, right? Because then there's an additional attack step. Something along those lines. Okay, everything has menace. That is annoying. And now that's an 8, so it's, let's see, what happens if I double block here? Then I take, how much? I take 16. Okay. Too strong, so 8, 14, yeah. That was too strong. I that was embarrassing. All right, let's try and board out. Let's see. The full sideboard is going in. This is what I want to see. So we take out Borborygmos, no combo shenanigans at the end of the rainbow. 2 copies of Reanimate. I actually like this because that deck is probably a Chalice of the Void deck. 4 copies of Entomb. That's a bit more scary. 4 Shallow Grave, 4 Animate Dead. So take out a lot of stuff here, and we bring in the whole sideboard. What could possibly go wrong against Minotaur Stompy? If I bring in my whole sideboard, what could possibly go wrong? All right, let's see if we can do a little bit better. I didn't make the Reanimator players proud in that one, that's for sure. That was so bad. But also a lot of fun. I hope you guys are having fun. Like Brian over there calling me a Reanimator sicko. Yeah, I can't believe I just discarded all my lands and it didn't care at all. That was too funny. And then what did I do the next turn? Yeah. I forgot about the show and tell artifact for Minotaurs. I should have cleared my opponent's hand for the 6-drop. Slowed down and then, you know, won the game again. Let's see if I get another chance to win the game. So this is kind of a weird pivot where I have this Witherbloom Apprentice in a smart combo. I have show and tell. I guess that's why I have all these creatures. And then I just have a couple of reanimates in case, you know, stuff happens. I don't know what these therapies are going to do, actually, the more I think about it. Maybe I should do something with those, like therapies for, I don't know, a couple of animate deaths. I have no idea. Therapy against that deck seems probably not something I would know how to utilize. Okay, so spoils. Let's see, can I do anything smart here? If I keep this hand, what's it gonna do? I think if I keep this hand, I'm gonna unmask my opponent. Pitching Gristlebrand. Then I'm gonna go Surveil Land. I like the card. I'll cycle into it on my next upkeep with spoils. Keep drawing. And then I'm just 1 smog or 1 apprentice away from winning. There's also a plan of get rid of a spoil for show and tell. That is probably a better plan. Okay, I'm gonna keep this hand. Hoping to get leylined. Did not get leylined. Let's go unmask against that deck. Wow, there's a lot of cards. So Fairy is obviously good. Sundering Eruption. Loot. Didgeridoo. It's really funny. I'm contemplating taking that didgeridoo. That is one of the most embarrassing things I've ever realized. So, okay, Blood Moon would be very annoying and crush me. But I don't think I have a choice. So, show and tell later. Let me just take this card. Too funny. Now let me go this one, looking for show and tell. Yes, we put Atraxa into the graveyard. So Fairy shuts off the graveyard. Here's Chrome. Let's see. So now I probably have to... Ooh. Yeah, now the flute is coming back to haunt me. Ah! I can't believe I didn't think about that. Okay. If I take the flute, So I guess my hope is that Bosch loots here. I guess I do this. Forgot about this card. I guess let's do it. Yeah, I'm messing up some sequencing here, I believe. Reanimate is terrible against the fairy. I guess I get rid of that card, right? Yeah, let's get rid of that card. All right, that card resolves. So now Bosch will probably go with a Bloom Apprentice, but I'm not positive about that. Show and tell. Bosch knows how to play Magic. And I just gave it up because of this land. Too strong. Too strong. And I'm losing to the tokens because I don't know how to play, which is totally fair. Like, that's what should happen. Construct token. And now with show and tell shut down, can Bosch find a way to shut down the with a Bloom combo here? I think that would be all that's left to do, right? Here's Soul Guide Lantern. That's fine. I mean, Barry already had that avenue shut down. See the traders. So now what do? I think I spoils for show and tell. Spoil for show and tell, but then I still have to draw a ritual, literally a ritual to cast it. What's the alternative? I think the alternative is me drawing like back to back. I'm dead next turn. Make a construct, search. That's 14 damage, so I have to try and win now. Okay. Well, let's cast show and tell and draw Dark Ritual after surviving. Yeah, Bosch did a good job here. I almost got there. 13 too deep. That can happen. All right, that's going to do it for the matches. It was a mixed bag, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's wrap things up with Brian. All right, guys, we're back with the debrief. We just had 3 grueling matches of 6 very, very promising decks locking horns, no pun intended. And here we are in the aftermath. Brian, good games, first of all.
Yeah, for sure. Some of them were good. I think the first and third matches were good, and the middle one was a garbage fire. But, you know,
yeah,
that happens sometimes.
Yeah, we can't really control if we have like super competitive draws or how the decks line up, because we do value playing, you know, in a closed decklist environment, hopefully showcasing a little bit of an advantage, you know, that I didn't know is you would be playing didgeridoo and stuff like that. That's a very, very important information to keep concealed.
I'm surprised.
We started things off. Yeah, I was surprised to say the least. We started things off with me playing an Is It Artifact deck submitted by one of my members. I believe it was a DN Solver deck originally. I changed it a little bit, tried to make it a little more consistent, cut a little bit top end, added some lands, minor stuff essentially. And you were on the Strifo deck, right?
Yeah, it's from a deck dump from Strifo a while back. All of my decks came directly from my Patreon community. They shout out to my Discord mod King of the Depths, who set up a whole channel in our Discord where people submit and then tune and then vote on decks. And then there's another round of tuning after the decks, after the votes are in. So I had no hand in this, but I put my full trust in my community not to obliterate me. And they did come up with 3 pretty cool decks. And
yeah, certainly.
Yeah, no regrets there. But yeah, the Strifo deck, I remember when he first put up his 5-0 with that, everyone was talking about it. Kishless Skimmer. I actually just a couple weeks ago saw the famous HJ Goddick playing Kishless Skimmer in Vintage in real life at the Steel City Spectacular. So people are still playing with that card. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, your deck, I would never want to play that matchup. I have nothing for it. There's no Wrath of the Skies. There's no, I guess there's one Pernicious Deed in my sideboard, which by the time you're in Kappa Cannoneer, it doesn't matter.
Collector Roof was an important one for me I need to draw one of my 2 dismembers to kill it,
Right.
to be fair. That card was really strong, and then I got lucky and exactly unlocked enough to play the first Thought Monitor, and I was kind of off to the races. But you were very dangerously close to just stranding me with a ton of cards there. So Green Sun Zenith Toolbox, very, very powerful.
Yeah, that new Affinity deck with the Pinnacle Emissary, is that what it's called? Pinnacle Emissary? Yeah. That card, even if I am a Zenith deck with Collector Oof, that happens on turn 3. Turn 2, if I'm lucky enough to have my Molt Tender and a fetch land to turn on the Molt Tender.
That's right, little brother.
But your turn 1 could just be, warp that, play 4 artifacts, and then Collector Roof does not race for 1/1 flyers. So
Certainly.
And my removal's not set up to deal with 4 1/1 flyers either. So there's the nut draw and then the slow grind. And that is an Affinity deck is very cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool as well. Do you play Natural Order in your deck, by the way? Because I was super scared of that. A lot of my plan was around, especially the turn where I'm able to dump a hasty Kappa Cannoneer to clear the Teferi, to just have that Force of Will online instead of losing to Natural Order. Yeah, I was pretty scared about that. What kind of targets are you working with?
It's just Atraxa. There's a bunch of little stuff. There's like Endurance and Leovold and Collector Roof in the Zenith package, but it's just Atraxa at the top.
Okay, yeah, that deck, I think there was a little bit of situations where about the Raccoon, the 3/3, where you had the chance to grow it, but it seems like then you exiled 2 lands, and just did you feel like you played that optimally? It seems like you lost a little bit of a mana situation there.
I was just using it as personal Howling Mine for the first couple of turns, and then when you started to unlock, because it looked like you were stumbling early, like you were not quite doing what you wanted. There were 2 turns where you had Quarry Steel Cutter in play and didn't make a monk, and it just felt like you were behind, and I was trying to grind ahead.
I actually don't know how I won that game. You must have drawn very many bad cards in a row.
Maybe, but if I was aware that that thing could become 7/7, and I definitely misplayed on the last turn where I was just focused on your graveyard. I knew your graveyard could give me Delirium with the Raccoon. But so can mine, and mine draws a card. So
that was my point exactly. You feel like you could have done it a little bit more efficiently, getting to the same spot, but just cheaper.
Yeah, as soon as I did it, I was like in the middle of combat. I think I like actively had the ability targeting your 3rd card, and I was like, shit, I could have drawn a card here for free. And
exactly. That kind of deal.
That did not end up changing the match, but I did draw a 1-drop, the Molt Tender, that I could have played with that 1 mana that I used to draw the Molt Tender, and it could have been an extra blocker. Like if my Plow resolved that turn, if your last 2 cards in hand weren't Force Blue card, then the Molt Tender being a chump would have mattered. So that was a pretty big bleed, and maybe I'm just supposed to make it 7/7 immediately and just hit you with it.
Yeah, I was scared of that, randomly at the time, but who knows what's best. That card is quite... I don't know. I had the cutters, I played some tap lands, and it was terrible, but then, I started to get going, and I drew very well off the first draw 2. It's like really snowballed, and hasty Kappa Cannoneers, pretty tough to deal with. And then game 2 with the clutch dismember on the oof, and I was able to play the first draw 2 and kind of snowball from there. So I think my deck is pretty decent, but also if you're facing off against hate, maybe not that great, because you're only as great as your ability to, spit out stuff.
Right, and this Strifo deck came out when Tarkir Dragonstorm was new. That was 3 sets ago at this point, and the metagame's a little different. Certainly... I'm aware of this Artifact Affinity deck you just played, and maybe 2 Pernicious Deeds or a Wrath of the Skies, just something that lets me keep up somehow. If you blitz me even a little bit, it would probably make sense.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. Then we moved on. I played the Nadu Cradle deck. Pretty stock, but unpopular deck at the moment, so it qualified for our, outside of top 15. I think that could easily just go on a tear and be a top 10 deck in Legacy. I don't think I would be unreasonable.
And you're playing an interesting deck that I actually never got to see the, let's say, what was that, the end of the rainbow, whether that was a Dark Depths deck, whether that was a Pox deck or whatever. Maybe talk to me a little bit about that deck.
Yeah, I will say when I thought seized you at the start of that match, I was like, come on, Nadu Elves? Like, I guess it's technically like the 16th deck in the meta or whatever, but that one was definitely...
I can see that.
I won't say the word fraud, but I thought it.
Yeah, we should we can refine the rules a little bit. I see.
I mean, it's fine. Like, that deck is unpopular. It did top 4 Eternal Weekend last year, and we have basically the same format now that we did last year. So if anyone's looking for a crazy combo deck, and the Nadu Elves deck crushes Nadu midrange, but then it's weak to Nadu Breakfast, and Nadu midrange is good against Nadu Breakfast. There's kind of a rock, paper, Nadu scissors.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's a thing that exists. But yeah, I was playing Loampox with the Eumidian Hatchery, and
the land and smallpox and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, the Bitter Blossom land, and
yeah,
I kept my hand on the draw, like not knowing what you were up against. I kept like a Thoughtseize Wasteland Double Ursa Saga start, and
sure.
Then you had like 2 Mana Dorks and Gaia's Cradle in play before I could even Wasteland you once, and my whole plan was garbage. But that's a deck that could fold on the spot to Smallpox. Like, if I get a Mana Dork, a land, and a card out of your hand on turn 2, that's exactly the matchup we're looking for. But once you break out, it's impossible to catch up. And game 2 is especially frustrating, where I kept a really good hand and then drew nothing but nothing for the entire game.
Yes.
Even Malevolent Rumble and Witherbloom Command both missed on Loam. They missed on Hogak. Oh, I actually drew all my Hogaks both games. That didn't help.
Oh, okay.
It was not great.
Hogak you can only cast if you've already gotten off a hatchling, or how does it work in that deck?
There's Bowmasters, which immediately turn on Hogak.
I did see you milling over that one. Okay, that's a cool one.
Yeah, the game 2, the Thoughtseize, knowing that you had Force of Vigor and Collector Roof, and my hand relied on Mox Diamond to have green mana, it made that Malevolent Rumble really tough, because I need the black source to clear your answer, but I also need the Bowmaster to turn on the Hogak that's in my hand, and it just never materialized. I drew like all of the regular mana producing lands, not even a Wasteland, a Saga, a Ghost Quarter, nothing. It was just like forests and swamps for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that gave me, enough time to just find something eventually, right? Because as you alluded to, once I get my mana on board, I have so many live draws, right? That's kind of like a blue deck with a ton of cantrips. Now it just turns on my Zeniths and my Court of Callings, and then, that's not a place you want to be against that deck.
Right, and you ripped Nomad's Encore on that last turn.
I did that a few times in that match, I feel like, where it's like, I'm probably doing fine, but now nothing matters, and it just gets easy, right? So that card is a combo certainly potent. But now we move on to the highlight. I would say the main dish was the last one. Yep. Because when you go turn 1 Blood Moon, that should be very bad for me, but my hand is Petal, Land, and I was planning on go to clean up anyway with my deck. So I was like, sure, you got it. So I get to attack with Gristlebrand, draw 14, and now I have to discard a ton of cards. Why would I need all these lands, Brian? I will just discard all of my lands. Like, why would I need those, right? I will keep a swamp, though. That's smart against Blood Moon. But every other land, let me get rid of those. And you sure made me pay.
Yeah, that was one of those moments that is probably going to make the highlight reel at the end of the year, where I basically said every turn, I need to draw Trinisphere to have a chance. And then, okay, I hope he didn't keep any lands. And then, okay, then you animated my Minotaur, and I'm like, now I need something that can beat that in combat. And I drew my own copy of the same Minotaur, because you had black too. You could have given your squad Menace with the Minotaur and just beat me twice. And
oh no. Well,
my 6/6, that would have beaten the 6/6 that you knew I had.
That's why the 6/6 didn't work. Got it. Okay, got it.
Yeah, the 6/6 didn't work, but I drew my own copy of the same guy that makes two blockers. So like, it was just one after another of whatever the perfect card was for me to draw. I even found that one of Soul Guide Lantern along the chain there. Like, that was Magical Christmas Land coming in to pay me back for the bullshit of round 2.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm very happy I didn't keep a land there, because then this debrief might have been a little bit different. So game 2 becomes a little bit tricky because I got this deck from a member who really loves to play this deck. So I just got a guide on how to fully duke, essentially. So I have the Show and Tell plan, and I have the Chain of Smog with Willowbloom Apprentice in my sideboard. So my deck becomes like super wonky there. And it seems like you're really on top of it. So maybe talk a bit about that Disruptor Flute, because that impressed me a lot. Like you just played that card and looked like that was the most easiest thing in the world, naming Show and Tell.
Yeah, so I had the Fairy Macabre, and you Thoughtseize me, and you did not take Fairy Macabre. You took Didgeridoo, which makes me think you want to play a longer game, and or that Reanimator is not that important to you. And so, like, that's one piece of the puzzle. And then I see Spoils of the Vault, and the only person playing that is Witherbloom Combo. So I identified you had Witherbloom Combo in your deck, and then I was holding the Flute. When untapping into your 2 mana, I was like, if he plays Apprentice at any point, I can just Flute and name Chain of Smog, and it buys me a million turns. So, like, you're kind of locked out of that. And then, because my Urza Saga was about to start eating my mana every turn, I didn't want to have to hold up Flute anymore. So I just sent it into your fetch land. And when you fetched a blue source, I was like, oh, it's Show and Tell. And then just checked all the boxes.
Perfect. So this is exactly what I was hoping for you to say. So I love all of the intel. You're certainly right. The information from Thoughtseize, what I take and what I leave you with, that gives you a lot of info. Love that breakdown. But when I fetched there, I didn't actually think I had a Surveil Land in the deck. But when I see it, I'm like, oh, wow, let's go get a Surveil Land, because might as well, right? The problem is that color kind of tips off my plan, because I had natural draw on my 1 Underground Sea in my hand, so I didn't need this color, but I wanted the filtering. So this is perfect, just to see that your opponent can realize 90% of what's going on, but if you help them get over the hump and reach 100, you can look like a jerk here, and you sure made me look like a jerk here. You played super well here. So sure, you got a little help with some perfect draw steps, but you capitalized on my mistakes and you made me pay. That's what Magic should be about, in my opinion. Like, that's the best feeling.
Yeah, I say all the time in my videos that your opponents are always telling you what they have. Like, they're always telling you what's in their deck. They're always telling you what's in their hand. They're always telling you what their plan is in a matchup, if you know how to listen. And when I'm out there at Eternal Weekend and just 8-0 with 3 rounds left to go, because it's an 11-round tournament, and I've been doing that the whole time, and that's what I try to impart to my audience when they listen. Like, my content, this would be called over-explained content on other channels, where usually goes quick, and it's just like, so you can see some Magic being played. But then once in a while, someone releases an 1.5-hour video where they explain every stupid thing, and I do that every day. And I want people to realize that when your Reanimator opponent Thoughtseizes you and doesn't take Fairy Macabre, that tells an entire story, and they need to be listening.
Yeah, great point. I do love the details myself, and today I was the prime example of being read like an open book. So that was really cool, Brian. We should keep up this monthly endeavor, and I'll try and do a little bit better on the definitions for next time. I feel like I brought 3 decks that were flying very close to the sun.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Nadu Combo and Turbo Reanimator are like, okay. Yeah. But I mean, I was talking about this a little bit when in game 3, when I was already on tilt and you just discarded Grizzlebrand to hand size, I was like, great, I'm fucking dead. He's got Turbo Reanimator after getting Turbo Nadu. But also, like, the point of this, it's not to just play stupid decks that don't really work. We want to showcase that you can leave the front page of MTG Goldfish and still have lots of cool decks to play. And like, Tin Fin's Shallow Grave Reanimator is very different than Tamiyo Blue Reanimator. Those are completely different things. And having to juke onto Witherbloom and Show and Tell rather than just flip your Tamiyo in post-board games or cast Barrowglaive, like, it's very interesting, and it showcases maybe what the format could be with a few well-placed bands. I don't know, but it's it's cool. I like that you brought decks that were like just under the band, and my decks were nonsense from my Patreon, and I feel like our games were still good. Like, decisions were made, and even in the lone pox slaughter. Like sometimes in Magic, you just draw 8 lands in a row. It's gonna happen. And if we played best of 5, I think that matchup would have been really interesting. And
yeah, me too.
Just didn't do that.
Randomly how those exact 2 games played out, right? But we can all see from, in theory, that would be a cool. You could choke me out of some games, and I could get barely over the hump, and we could have like these race within margins. But yeah, that was not today. But entertainment value was up there. So I guess we take those. I think that's it for me. If you don't have anything else, you can wrap up the show, Brian.
All right. Well, this has been episode 2 of the Bosch versus Baron Battle for the Basement. And if you're watching on Eco Baronin, come over to Bosch and Roll. If you're watching on Bosch and Roll, go check out Eco Baronin. Both sides of the matches will be live by the time you're seeing this.
Yep, certainly.
All right. See ya.
See you guys.